Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I always appreciate taking your time out of your busy day to watch my videos. Well, today is December the 4th, 2024, and I'm going to go over some of my top baits for December. We kind of had a warmer than usual fall, so the water temperature is still here in northwest Arkansas, southern Missouri, eastern Oklahoma. You still have water temperatures in the 50s, and maybe some days even 60 or 61, but for the most part they're in the 50s. Most time this year I've already put up the buzz bait, but since the water temperature is still over 50 degrees, I'm still throwing it, still putting the buzz bait to work. I got the bigger blade on there so I can reel it slower and just reel it just fast enough to keep the blade turning and keep it on top. You don't want to reel it real fast, just like I said, just fast enough to keep it on the top of the water and keep that blade a popping. Fish it on 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon, 7'3" rod. That way I can get a longer cast. I'll be fishing it on long points, long flat points, fishing it on steeper banks that has big chunk rock or stumps or laydowns, you know, just some kind of cover in the water, boat docks. Just fish it around any of those places that has, if you have good water visibility, you know, 3 foot or more. I wouldn't be afraid to throw that buzz bait around a boat dock that's in 20 foot of water, just real slow. Those steep banks, I'll be paralleling the steep banks. You'll want to look for those channel swing banks, you know, like halfway back in the creek, 2/3 back in the creek. This time of year, you check the ones out on the main lake too, but it seems like this time of year I find a lot of fish half to 2/3 way back in the creek still. Find those channel swings, and the channel swing doesn't have to go right up against the bank. Long as the channel swing is a good cast away from the bank, then you're good. As long as those fish has real close deep water that they can get to this time of year, because we have cold fronts coming in, like today's the warmest day we've had in the last few days. It's in the 50s today. We've been having highs in the 40s and lows in the 20s for a few days, but it's back in the 50s today, and the low last night was 46, I think. That's what it was at my house anyway. So anyway, don't be afraid to throw the buzz bait still, as long as the water temperature is over 50 degrees. And my next bait is the spinner bait, the True Faith custom bait spinner bait. And these is True Faith custom bait buzz baits. This is a 1/2 ounce spinner bait. Throw it in the same place as you would the buzz bait. When you come to big rock piles or a brush pile or a lay down, throw that up there and just slow roll it. A solid white one with white blades works well, especially if you have some off-colored water. This time of year we're getting more rain, and so you may have off-colored water. So a solid white one This white and chartreuse is good. You could have solid white blades on this white and chartreuse. Another good color is the coleslaw. The coleslaw color spinnerbait, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce. A lot of times when the water gets below 50 degrees, anywhere from 45 to 55 degrees, sometimes you'll want to use the big 3/4 ounce, and you'll want to put a trailer on it, but you don't want a trailer with a whole lot of action. You want to put like a little grub tail or something that doesn't have just a whole lot of action. But you want to use a big full-size spinnerbait, and use this one doesn't have the very big blades on it, but use big blades and a big bait, because that time of year when the water is 45, 55 degrees, those fish are looking for one big meal. They don't want to have to chase and get a bunch of small meals. They want one big meal, and this spinnerbait, I mean, can catch you the big fish of the tournament. Go fish your other baits, your jigs, your crankbaits, get your limit, and then go hog hunting. Tie that spinnerbait on and go hog hunting. If it's still water temperature still over 50 degrees, tie that buzz bait on, tie the spinnerbait on, throw both of them, find you the big pig for the tournament on those two baits right there. Next bait I want to talk about is crankbait time. 6XD, or 6XD, I'm sorry, DT6. It's time to get the old raffle the DT6 out, put it to work. When you're fishing 6 foot or less, that DT6 is your go-to bait. I use them in the shad and the crawdad patterns. Either one of those patterns works well for me, the shad or the crawdad pattern. Throw it on 10-pound line, get on those transition areas by those creek channel swings, and bounce that thing down in the rocks, and you'll be catching some fish. Another crankbait, a little deeper crankbait, is the Fritz-side, Berkley Fritz-side. That's a really good crankbait. Fish hit in the same areas, just a little deeper. And one of my favorites, is the rock crawler. The rock crawler, throw it. This one will run out to 15 feet deep, and that's what I'd be throwing a lot. I've fished anywhere out to 15 feet of water. Crawdad colors is what I normally use this time of year. Crawdad colors, or you get the red colored ones. Any of the you got real clear water, that Phantom Red right there is kind of a go-to. But anyway, that rock crawler is another one of my favorite crankbaits. But I'm gonna give away a little secret here. I talked about it here in one of my recent videos. And but a good buddy of mine Chris Johnson, he talked about it in one of his videos today that I watched today as well. The Shad Rap. Don't forget about the Shad Rap. It's like the DT6. Come loose from there. Both of them. Well, that one's. Get it. Where's my? What did I got right? Ouch. There we go. Doesn't have a rattle in it. I got a DT6 here somewhere that's quiet. Anyway. If I can get that loose. There we go. When on a cold front day, or the fish is kind of finicky, they're not wanting to chase the rock crawler or the other crankbaits, get out this Shad Rap. This is number 7 Shad Rap. You can go up to number 8, but I prefer the number 7 and number 5. The number 7 and number 5 is what I throw 99% of the time. Get that Shad Rap out. No rattle. It's real light, so you'll probably want to throw it on a spinning rod. I throw it on 10-pound test line, and I fish mine with the clip on it. You can either put the clip, or you can put a swivel on it. Not a swivel, but one of those right there. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Just put on one of those deals right there on the up here instead of the snap, and it helps give it more action. And I trust those more than I trust tying the loop knot. I've had loop knots break on me before, and so what are them freaking hooks I put on here? I put on triple grip hooks on this thing. Boy, they're sharp. They'll hook anything. But that Shad Rap, I've had some days on the lake with a Shad Rap, and when other people wasn't catching anything, I was slaying them on a Shad Rap. So that's kind of a bait that I think's kind of been forgotten since the rock crawlers and wiggle warts and all these new crankbaits has came out. I mean, like I said, these is number 5. All of these is number 5s. I got red ones, shad ones, crawdad ones. You know, I got all different colors. You think I'm kidding about having Shad Raps? I got Shad Raps, all different colors, number 5s and number 7s. Another bait that's kind of like a Shad Rap that I have caught a lot of fish on too is a flicker shad. That flicker shad's a good one too. It has rattles in it, so I usually fish it when fish is a little more aggressive and wanting to chase a little more. But when after a cold front and them fish is not wanting to chase, the Shad Rap gets the go. A little bit of wind helps a lot. If you got a little breeze, that'll help a lot. And I fish it on 10-pound line and get around them transition banks and ditches and points, especially points where the creek channel comes close to a point. That first 100 yards from the end of that point will pretty much tell you if you're going to catch a fish on that bank or not. If you catch fish in that first 100 yards, you can keep fishing it. If you don't catch a fish on that first 100 yards, go find you another go find you another channel swing and find some fish that's biting. Alright, next, something that I hate to fish with a passion. I hate them. I hate fishing them. I know a lot of people loves them, but I am not one of them at all. And that's throwing the stupid jerk bait. I hate jerk baits. I hate them, hate them, hate them. I don't like to throw the dang things at all. I've got a crap ton of them, and I'll throw them if I have to, but if I can get them to bite a jig, if I can get them to bite a crankbait, I will be fishing, or a spinnerbait. If I can get them to hit anything in the world other than a freaking jerk bait, I will. This is one of my favorite colors, is the clown. I throw the clown a lot. This is an Excalibur. I've got some Berkley Stunnas. I've got the ones that dives a little deeper. I've got the regular ones. I've got the ones that dives a little deeper. Stunnas. I got the Rapalas. I got the Megabass. Still have some old Smithwick Rattling Rogues. Here's another one of my favorite colors, especially if it's kind of dingier water, is the old Table Rock shad color. But anyway, I throw those in the exact same areas along those transition banks where the creek channel, his creek swing is, channel swings, and down those steeper banks and all across long tapering points and flats, and I catch fish on them, but I don't like to use them. Bring them over brush piles, bring them by standing timber, bring them over lay downs, bring them, you know, by boat docks. And then when the water gets really, really cold, you know, below 45, below 40, in the 30s, low 40s, I switch to the small jerkbait. This is the Megabass X Nanahan. I've got those. I've got this little pointer. And here's another color of X Nanahan that I use on cloudy days, a little dingier water. And I throw this one in clear water on sunnier days. But both of these work really, really well, especially in the colder water. Throw the smaller jerkbait in the colder water. You know, you have to figure out the cadence. Make like 10 casts and do some different cadences or do the same cadence for the first 10 casts. The next 10 casts, jerk it 1 or 2 more times, pause it for another second or 2. You know, when it gets that cold, you may have to pause it for 15 seconds sometimes. And when you have to pause it that long, that's when you really, really need one that's going to suspend. So you need to have a good suspending jerkbait, especially in that cold water when you're having to pause it for long periods of time. I fish those on 10-pound test line, fluorocarbon, and just fish it in those channel swing banks, in the transition areas, and the first 100 yards from the point where the channel swing comes in close to the point. If you wanna see a different way to work a jerkbait, watch Randy Blockett. He has a way to work a jerkbait where he makes it vibrate in the water, and he says it smashes them. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to. Randy Blockett, he really likes the jerkbait. I guess that's his favorite way to fish, just about. But watch his video and let him show you how he works a jerkbait. And last but not least, the jig. True Faith custom bait jig. Also, one of my favorite ones is the living rubber, this straight brown living rubber. True Faith custom bait jig. I like the living rubber. I've got living rubber. This is another one of my favorite colors, black with purple flash. That's another favorite color. And then the green pumpkin and rust color is another one of my favorite colors. You'll work them slow, extremely slow this time of year. I don't really hop mine this time of year. It's just a slow drag across the bottom. I'll pair that up with a chunk style bait and pick out your favorite chunk style trailer and put that chunk style trailer on there, or maybe a Zoom Ultra Vibe, something that don't give off just a ton of movement. A little twin tail grub also works great this time of year. I'll fish that on 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon, fish it in the same spots, and bring it through the brush, the rock piles, the laydowns, and hop it off those steep banks. And I'll get it like at a 45-degree angle, throw up all the way to the bank, and start working it all the way back to me. And I may have my boat sitting in 30 or 40 feet of water, but I'll work it all the way down that bluff bank, especially if it's got stair steps on it. You'll figure out at what depth those fish are staying on those stair step bluff banks. A lot of them's going to be on the bluff ends where it transitions and goes from the real deep to the shallower, a little bit shallower and a little bit flatter bank, and you'll find a lot of fish there, especially if you can find a rock pile or brush pile or lay down or something, or some standing timber right there at the end of that bluff. So anyway, those are my top baits for December. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a message. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And have a blessed week, and I will see you on the water.